focus is on Tier 2 cities of South India. Kochi, we've already gone through. Coimbatore is our next market in focus, just across the border from Kerala. This one has a lot going for it. Great climate, good educational institutions and also good health institutions. So much so that I hear of people in Delhi looking at Coimbatore as their retirement city to go and live in. What's going on in Coimbatore? Let's find out from our panelists today. Before that, just a quick look at the micro markets which we will be looking at. Avinashi Road, there's Sarvanampatti, there's Trichy Road and there's Vadavali. Sandeep, let me come to you first. Coimbatore. You were there both in Kochi and Coimbatore. Describe who's buying in Coimbatore vis-a-vis in Kochi, because Mr. Subramanian says that it's actually Keralites and NRIs who are even coming to Coimbatore.
Yeah, he's right. See, Coimbatore is one place which is liked by most other neighboring states for its climatic conditions and the peaceful atmosphere there, and more importantly it's best for the retirement life, it is known to be, because it's one of the best of health institutions and educational institutions are there in Coimbatore. So, and the available infrastructure like natural resources like water is the major advantage. So that's one reason Coimbatore attracts a crowd from all over neighboring states. But as far as Kerala is concerned, what Subramaniam said is right, that it is largely driven only by the Keralites. But the Keralites in Gulf is definitely a huge number. So that's what the difference is about Coimbatore and Kochi.
Okay, fair enough. So let's look at some data points. Data provided by Prop Equity suggests that Coimbatore market has been a non-performer. Now we are just looking at prices, launches, etc., giving just 5% returns over the last 1.5 years. A fall in number of new launches has pulled down the amount of unsold stock in the market. Inventory overhang is okay at 19 months, but then because launches are also going down and price appreciation is fairly stagnant. Sum up Coimbatore for us, Ashutosh. That market seems to be becoming more and more a retirement option rather than a commercial office hub which should be attracting young population. Is there a danger therein for Coimbatore?
I think it's a great place to live post retirement, and it's a good place to live and earn and to indulge in economic activities as well. I think the problem with Coimbatore that has happened of late is there is imbalance in terms of real estate activity in different parts of the city. So we see Avinashi Road as a very dominant corridor where real estate activity happens, and also the northern corridor, which is the Mittupalayam Road corridor, also sees quite a bit of activity. But I think the other parts of the city are really not living up to the potential that they have. Perhaps they are underestimating themselves, and today we are seeing a situation where there is inventory overhang, prices not rising to that extent, and I think that's because more than 90% of Coimbatore's real estate is happening in eastern and northern corridors put together. So I think there is a kind of imbalance happening. I'm not too worried about Coimbatore city's potential to attract investors as well as to offer houses on a first home basis as well. But I think this is the micro imbalance, I think, that is playing its role at the moment.
All right, so just let's look at the micro markets now. Avinashi Road, definitely all the questions that we get on the property show regularly, Samir, are Avinashi Road. Most people want to buy there. Yet when I look at the weighted average price appreciation, it's been almost flat. If I look at the data, it's Trichy Road which has actually gone up substantially, 17%. There are micro market imbalances which are very stark in Coimbatore. But overall, do you think the potential of attracting IT companies and other infrastructure, it is a manufacturing hub for both electrical and knitwear industry?
Sure. So basically what has happened is, as we've been saying on the show all throughout, that blue-collared workers are not being able to, where there is a lot of dominance of blue-collared I would say, population, there is real estate activity is not very much in terms of appreciation. You know, and again, this market is a very small market, very fragmented market. And also one thing that I'd like to add about Kochi and Coimbatore was when the FDI opened up in real estate, a lot of private real estate developers came into this market and drove land prices up. So there's one big reason why prices are not coming down here is because developers are holding on to stock at a very expensive rate.
Right. And
that's why there's not much development happening, because there's no demand, absorption levels are crashing, and no new launches are also happening because the price points are so high. And blue collared workers just can't drive price points beyond a certain level because their incomes don't permit them to do so. And Coimbatore today is witnessing half the absorption as even Kochi is, which is not saying very well for this city.
So half the absorption, and in terms of launches?
Again, very low. I would say if you look at, if you were to compare Coimbatore to Kochi, Coimbatore's total real estate market in the primary side with organized development is 60 to 70% that of Kochi.
Good Lord. So it's a smaller market and also a more fragmented market. Mr. Subramaniam, how do you really attract buyers? Who do you think will come and buy the flats? So what's your target audience in Coimbatore? NRIs, I've established people across the border from Kerala who also look at Coimbatore for its cosmopolitan living. Do you think there's enough pent-up demand within Coimbatore also?
Yeah, still we are having a demand for the 20 lakhs to 35 lakhs budget. And that budget we are serving, catering to the customers. And all NRIs, investors are outskirts of Coimbatore. As you said, there is all the 4 roads are developments, Trichy Road, Avinashi Road, Mettupalayam Road and Satyamangalam Road. 4 roads are only developing now because they have developed more infrastructure there, and micro markets are there only because Sakti Road is developing because of the IT park. Already is proven 1.73 million square foot constructed and occupied, and nearly about 10,000 people are working there. So that's a huge demand is there in that place. As well as the budget also, if you see compare with other cities in Tamil Nadu, Coimbatore is rate wise also cheaper in outskirts. Inside the city only it's costly because of land price. And our target is to attract the crowd for 20 to 35 lakhs budget, and people are coming and buying it still now. And the investors are only the true investors, no speculation in our projects.
So it's a non-speculative market, Mr. Subramanian. That's quite evident from the data points as well. Ashutosh, just come in here and tell me, what is Coimbatore's potential? I mean, I'm unable to guess it. There's education, there's health, there's good weather, there's good water. It was supposed to have attracted lots of investments from IT companies, which hasn't happened, but it still managed to get PE money from real estate investors.
So I think cities like Coimbatore, I mean cities in that kind of size bracket, I think we need to understand that the development may not happen on extensive scale all the time. So we will always have ups and downs in terms of the new development that happens, and I think Coimbatore did see a good kind of development in the last 3 to 4 years. So I think going forward we should not expect the same rate with which the IT companies came in, or the commercial offices were completed and occupied. It's a still market which is less than 10 million square foot market, the office market, not very big. And it is still at about 30% vacancy. So there is enough to be let and sold already in the office market. So we don't anticipate too much of fresh activity in office sector. Now it has got a strong relationship with residential. And what is happening is there is enough demand in my view between 25 lakhs to 35 lakhs category. But at the same time I think we have enough other areas, for example Erode, Tirupur or Bhavani, Pollachi, which can offer alternate locations at even cheaper rates. So a blue collared clientele which is very price sensitive, if they cannot afford something in Coimbatore, they can always look at other options outside Coimbatore, and with very good transportation infrastructure I think it really doesn't matter much for them to stay 30 kilometers away and come to work to Coimbatore. So I think while a balanced development, dispersed government is a good thing, but I think it is slightly acting the other way for Coimbatore in terms of the residential property market.
All right. Very interesting points. In fact, as Sameer mentioned, Coimbatore has seen a fall in new launches. In fact, the largest amongst the three markets that we've discussed, new launch supply has gone down by almost 67%. So, as per developers' expectations also, Sameer, I don't think this market has played out. Isn't
Absolutely.
it? And PE investors must have said, hey, everything is working for the city. It's got all the physical and social infrastructure, should be the big tier 2 city of Tamil Nadu on the border of Kerala to unleash, but it didn't so happen.
Absolutely, and in fact, developers from north, east, west have gone and acquired both in Kochi and Coimbatore hundreds and thousands of acres of land, and they're saddled with that land and don't know what to do with it now. Because even if they were to go out there and sell that land, there would be no takers whatsoever. So really, from a developer point of view, that story is just not played out. But the local developers would be sitting pretty, because they've actually seen how this market works, and they'll be doing small developments, affordable developments. They've not gone and bought the land at an expensive rate, so they'll succeed in this market. But for a largest developer,
it's not a
this story has just not played out.
Okay, so developers with a lot of experience like the ones we had on our panel still have a good going with both Coimbatore and Kochi, but for the national developers, really these are not markets that they would like to enter in, looking at right now the demand and supply situation. Sandeep Mehta, Mr. Subramaniam, Ashutosh Limai, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining in on this very interesting debate. I still hold that both Kochi and Coimbatore are beautiful cities for end users. If that's where you want to go and settle down, or you've got any family ties and connections, the quality of construction that you're getting both for villas and flats is at par with anything else that you will get. In fact, South is clearly ahead of North India when it comes to the end product. I'll say a goodbye here. We've discussed Hyderabad, given it a thumbs up, saying it's going to ride out the bumpy phase the best, and well, rest of the cities, tier 2 cities, will take a while, not just in South India but even North India, to start giving investors returns. We'll be back with many more cities on our Realty Debate next week. Thank you for joining me.